On August 15, 2021, the world watched in shock as the Taliban entered Kabul, reclaiming control over Afghanistan after nearly 2 decades of Western intervention. What began as a mission to bring democracy ended in a hurried withdrawal, marked by heart-wrenching scenes of thousands desperately trying to escape, scenes many of us will never forget. Among those caught in that chaos was Malalai. I am honored to share her story with you through this conversation we had over Zoom. To protect her identity and safety, I have intentionally omitted certain important details, and this episode is audio only. From her early work with the United Nations in Afghanistan to becoming a witness of peace recognized by children in Italy, Malalai's journey is one of courage, resilience, and hope. Join us as we dive deep into her experiences, the realities behind the headlines, and the personal impact of history in the making. This is a new episode of When Power Podcast. I am Ilaria, your host.
Hi, Laria. It's nice seeing you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of um, talking regarding this topic, which unfortunately very forgotten nowadays.
Thank you so much for being with us. For me, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us today and to have the possibility to shine a light on your story. And so, to start, who is Malalai today, and what has shaped the woman you've become since leaving Afghanistan?
Malalai today is responsible mother of two kids, um, who is a resilient advocate for the vulnerable population. And this resilience is given to me by my personal experience of migration and also my professional expertise that I have worked so far. I always dedicated myself, and I will continue dedicating myself for the humanitarian work, for developing strategies or helping in developing strategies that are helping the people in need, and also providing or helping my support by using my multilingual skills and abilities.
And I am a big fan and supporter, obviously, of your advocacy work and also your career and the way it's shaped so far. Um, for us to understand better your story, I think we need to start from your country, from Afghanistan, and the fact that you've been forced to leave your country. But even from far away, you never stop fighting for it. And so, my question here, and it's something that I ask to every guest, is what is that you're fighting for today, Malalai, and especially what you're fighting from exile?
Being a woman and being a person, you immigrate from your own country to a different state or to a different place. It's not an easy task. But when you do it, of course, it gives you power and resilience, and you have to have the power and resilience in order to survive. Otherwise, it's not easy to continue living. And fortunately, my migration gave me this resilience, and I'm mostly working on presenting the Afghan woman to the world, and talking and presenting Afghanistan, a country which is forgotten so far by the media, by the world. I'm here to support and to take the voices of those that have no access or opportunities to ask for help, or to spread their problems, or to let know the people what they are facing in the current situation. So far, I'm trying my best in advocating these people. I'm trying my best by presenting the Afghan culture in order to contribute a meaningful solution for those who are in need. Basically, I'm trying to remind back the people about this forgotten country, about these forgotten people who are suffering, but no one is listening, no one is hearing them.
Thank you, Malalai, for sharing this with us. Why do you think the world has stopped talking about Afghanistan, and what are the consequences of this silence, especially for the Afghan women who are still living under Taliban rule?
Unfortunately, the world changed their priority regarding or because of their political interests. That's why they are no more concerned about Afghanistan, even though they are trying to present the current government as a very normal government, as a very normal situation. And even though, like recently, there has been this big news that, okay, it's a very liberal government that's allowing women to work on the streets. And unfortunately, that was really a painful news that I heard and I have seen. And it's like, okay, you have everything, you are living a peaceful life, you have all the necessity of your life. And then you are saying that this is a liberal government because it's allowing the women to work on the streets. But why, in the first hand, why are these women working on the streets? Where they can work in the offices, where they can work, they can dream a big dream, they can live a life they would love, and that they are worth living. But unfortunately, people are trying. People, I mean, certain communities and certain people, certain groups are trying to present everything very normal, but in reality, life is very tough. Um, I'm from that country. I have my families there, and I know what they're going through, how the life, how much they are suffering each day. It's like a depression. It's a sadness in the air. They don't know. They have no future. They have no dreams. They have access to nothing. In the recent reports, where they are saying that first, they want those female workers who are going to the UN offices to leave them, to leave the offices and stop going. When they noticed that they are not following what they said, they started going behind each female worker from the UN office to tell them just to stop going to work. Otherwise, it's not going to be good for them. They are threatening their families, they are threatening their husbands, their fathers, their brothers. So it's not a pleasant environment as the people are presenting it. It's a very difficult situation. It's a very hard time, and unfortunately, it's a very stressful environment, especially for the girls, especially for the women. They have no access to schools, they have no access to the universities. There are girls who are graduated from high school, but they can't apply to the university abroad because they don't have the high school diploma. They are not giving to the girls the diploma. They are more, let's say, more rude or more, how can I, sorry, when I talk about these things, I get emotional, and I don't know. I feel really pain because it's painful for me. One thing is you go through it, and another thing is then again to make people understand what actually it is. It's even more painful. So it's they are threatening the woman especially, and apart from that, they are not good to the men as well. They have closed the barber shops for them because they, in order so that they don't cut their hair or their beard. They are not allowing even the males to go to the schools because they are hitting them, they are threatening them, they are violent to these boys because they are not dressing the dress code they provided. And people are suffering from hunger. They don't have enough money to buy these uniforms, this dress code they are providing. And they're saying, okay, it's not our headache. You find it from where you want? Yeah, but if we caught you stealing, we are going to cut your hand. If we find you doing something wrong, we are going to punish you in front of everyone in the public. and they have punishment, and each and every person from the government is allowed to punish a common person anywhere with any way they want. But they have no plan for the future. They have no resources for the people. They have no nothing for them, nothing. People are hungry. People are have no clothes to wear. People are suffering from an unknown future. No, they don't know what will happen tomorrow. They are just living for that moment. And even that moment is not secure because at certain point, a person disappears. No one knows what happened to the person, where he went, who took him, her, where they took this person, what are they doing to them. And after a certain period, you just find the body somewhere in a very harsh way, in a very violent way. It's not easy to explain, and it's hard to tell the people what's really happening in that place with those people. So yeah, but people have their own priorities, especially the international powers. They have their own interests and their own political interests, which made them to abandon Afghanistan, and they started focusing on other areas for their own benefits.
First of all, thank you very much for sharing this with us. I know it's not easy to put these feelings into words, and especially when you are living far away as well from your country, and you hear and you see these things happening, and it's like no one else is listening, and it's really upsetting to know that there is a political agenda anyway behind the fact what gets covered or not in the news. And I spoke on another podcast episode with another Afghan journalist, and the feeling was the same. They forgot about Afghanistan. They're not talking about it anymore, unless it's the anniversary of the Taliban accessing the countries. This whatever is a special occasion, and then we briefly cover it. But you don't really understand, like you say, what is going on the ground, because there is no one inside that is able to then share what's happening freely and make it accessible to the rest of the world. So it's really upsetting, and I can only imagine even the pain you're going through listening to this from your family that you needed to leave behind in Afghanistan. So I want to bring it back to your story and to 2021, the year you left Afghanistan.
Specifically, the day that Taliban overtook Kabul, the day the fall of Kabul. It's a nightmare for me, which I don't think I will ever in my life forget about that day. The feeling I had, it was like someone strangled me in the air. I was not able to touch the ground. I was not able to go up. I was not able to breathe. It was this kind of situation. But yeah, luckily, unfortunately, as I have been in Italy before, in here I have worked with different agencies and organizations, and I had this connection where I was able to come out from the situation through the humanitarian corridors and through the help of Italian government. We were in the airport where we were informed that we should leave. And also from my family, I got many calls and messages to leave the area because someone entered and is trying to do a suicide attack in that area, in that very specific area. My husband also came to know about this thing, and he was like, "What should we do? Should we go back and leave, or what? Like, what's your decision?" I said, "If I go back, I'm going to die. If I stay here, I might die. Dying in any place So then why not take the chance of this some percentage that if we leave, we can give a better future to our kids. So let's stay. And if we were able to leave and go, we can give a better future to our children. And he said, okay, he supported me in this. And we stayed. Unfortunately, as soon as we left that area, and there was a huge suicide attack. Um, Even though I was out of the place, I was out of the area, but I could still feel the heat. I could still feel the pain. I could still see and remember the faces that were there and that I have seen that they are no more there. They were taking the right to leave. They were taking the right to survive or to have a life or a future or some dreams. So it was tough. It was very difficult. Um, but yeah, we did it, and I feel sorry for those who couldn't make it to come out. But that was our decision. That was what we said. We live or we die in both. We die in both situations. So why not choose the one where we have some possibility to live and to have a better future?
Thank you for sharing this, Malalai. I There are no words on my side to comment on this, and I just really appreciate you share this part of your journey with us. I want to ask you something more from a gender perspective, from a woman perspective, as this month we are covering migration from in relation to women, and the fact that women, when they decide to migrate and to leave their own country for different reasons, they obviously need to carry, because of how society is designed, they carry more burden than men. And it's all about also survival, in the sense, like, you left your country, you arrived into Italy where you already lived before, so you had a kind of like established system that
Yes.
was ready to help you and to welcome you, but it's something that maybe not every woman has when is migrating to another country. And so my question is, what helped you to settle and to establish your life in Europe, in this case in Italy? What are some of the things that you had and that help you to go through this new chapter of your life? And what are some of the things that maybe you wish you had?
Well, as I said, one thing was that I wanted a better future for my kids, and so that was a purpose of for me to live, to survive, and to fight whatever challenges or problems I was facing, because they were my responsibility, and I had to take care of them. So when you have a purpose in your life, you do your best or even more than that to survive, even if the conditions are very hard, if you have no support, but still you try to stand for this purpose. And another thing is that you should be resilient to to your objectives, to your problems. And for those who don't have the possibility of having or leaving what you have. So if I'm here today, as you said, for me it was easier. For me, everything was better in a way that I already know the culture, the language, the place, the city, the people. I had friends from the universities, from the community, that were available to help me. And I already understand, but I can understand those people who had everything new, that they had no idea of what is going on and how is it working. And that's what I promised myself, that I would be a voice for those who don't have a voice, And I will stand there for these people, and I will try my best to help these people in any way I can. The only thing that I wish and I would I really wish and I really hope that existed in the system is the gender sensitive support, a legal guidance where they can have a mentorship for these people, that they should find a way of living, because things from our culture and this culture is very different. It's a 360-degree difference in these two cultures in every aspect. Like my daughter, she was 3 years old when we arrived, and she told me that, Mom, the water is not tasting the same as it used to be in Afghanistan or in Kabul. So if a child of 3 years can understand there is this gap, these differences, it's even harder for an adult to 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 see and to accept all these changes. I hope that there could be some mentorship for these people that could guide them in their new path, where they could, for example, have a good networking system with different people, with different groups, with different communities. Not everyone is welcomed everywhere. It's truth. It's a very clear fact of today's society. Unfortunately, um, by having this networking system, it would be easy for people to understand each other, because everyone, according to me, this is my personal think, that everyone is kind of brainwashed by the media. I know my country is uh, faced a lot of wars. There are a lot of ups and downs, let's say, but no one knows. Afghanistan, when you say Afghanistan, the only image people have is a ruined building, a fallen castle, an injured man, for example. But no one knows about uh, our culture, our the women in Afghan culture has a big respect in the real Afghan culture. Woman is a very important part of the society. From hundreds of years, women were working side by side with the men, whether it was cultivation, whether, okay, at that period, there were no offices, there were no schools or anything. But whatever there was, woman and male, they were working side by side. A woman could be the leader of a tribe, and everyone would listen to her. Everyone would respect her. Women had a lot of respect in our society. Women were treated like they were precious, they were important. But with the current situation and all, it changed the aspect of everything. So I'm sorry I moved a bit away from your question, but yeah. So there is there is a gender gap in the system when you migrate. Okay, I haven't faced it personally, but I've seen it, and I think it's very important to consider this thing. I think international communities should try to work on this. Otherwise, women being a woman always suffers a lot, whether it's in the place where she stays or whether it's the place she leave for to come in order to have a peaceful life.
I completely agree with this. Even, I mean, life of women is quite difficult regardless in any country, and challenges and obstacles are very gendered. Policies are not inclusive enough. But when you put your life at risk leaving your country because there is a war, persecution, or even if you're just looking for a better place where to have a future and raise your family, I think it increased even more this gender
Yeah.
gap in the way migrant women are treated, and also in the opportunity that then migrant women have when they
Mm.
get to a new country. And even, I don't know, even the police, the
Yeah.
social
They even
workers.
face violence. Sorry, to they face violence, a lot of violence from for the different from the people to whom they went to ask for help, and it's
Exactly.
very sad. It's a sad reality for the present community.
Exactly. We actually have one of the articles covering exactly this, which is gender-based violence in camps and
Hmm.
whenever for women on the move in general. And yeah, there are a lot of data and numbers proving that the same people that they are meant to protect them in the camps, whether it's the security, the police, volunteers, they are some of the first perpetrators
Medical
against
staff,
women.
they are taking a lot of misuse of these women who are there in order to be helped.
Yeah. They're taking advantage of the fact that
Yeah,
they are in a place of pain, they are in a place of need, and
yeah.
it's so sad,
Powerless.
powerless, exactly. And it's so sad to see this happening after everything they went through, and after and thinking about as well what they need to still get through, because when they get to the country, it's not, the fight is not over. They
Yeah.
need to find a job. Some of the countries, they don't even have a system in place to offer opportunities, like you say, to refugees, to migrants in general. So it's like, it's really really sad that then institution and power has that kind of effect on their life. And that leads me to the next question, which you said already, you haven't experienced this on yourself, but you
Yeah.
saw it happening. So when what do you think are some of the unique challenges that only women face when they are on the move?
One thing is that basically almost all of them have the cultural shocks, which again they need a lot of training, and they need time in order to understand these cultures and adopt these cultures, and they should be given time. They should not be judged by their first week of arrival and all, and they need moral support, as there is a lot of a big legal gap they are facing during their this stage of life. There is a legal gap that should be covered, obviously, and it's difficult because in most places, in most cases, it's not considered even as a problem or as a challenge. Being a person that already faced violence, that already had the pain, that already have been through so much, then even a very small support, a small help in this case, can really give can be a really a big support for this person, for this woman, for this lady. There should be gender awareness, gender based awareness, because mostly there are women, there are uh, who find a chance to escape from their place or from their home all alone by herself self, because maybe she is escaping a violence, a domestic violence. So it's not important that everyone is having a partner or a brother or a father or a big enough son to support her. In this situation, the awareness is really important that, okay, this woman is vulnerable, so take care of her.
Mm.
And as I said, woman is a big asset to the society, to every society. Whether they are migrant, whether they are not, they can be a big asset to the society if they are supported. They can be a great contribution to the society. But the only thing they need is a little bit of protection, a little bit of support. That's all.
Completely agree. And I think another obstacle to this gender awareness as well, and to this level of empathy and understanding of what women need to go through in such a very particular situation, a very dangerous situation, is, and you mentioned it before, it's also how media talks about
Yeah.
migrant in general. I think there is a
Mhm.
big problem there in the narrative. It's very discriminatory, it's not inclusive, and it's a narrative that exclude their voices, and so it's not complete. And I think migrant women are even more affected by this, perhaps, than you will share your opinion on this, but they're always represented as, not always, but often, I would say, represented as voiceless. They are victims. They are just
Yeah.
statistics. They're just number. We don't, like mainstream media. They don't give a platform to these women to express and to share their stories. And I think this lack of representation then has even added trauma and an added negative effect on their journey and in their situation, even the safety and their dignity. So my question is, what do you think about it, and how do you think media affect women in this sense?
Nowadays, media and social media, I would specify, is really important because it's very hard that someone listen to a real story that's going on or to see the reality of something. They just focus on what's going on in the media. So, as you said, if the media is presenting a positive picture of someone or some person, everyone will follow that without even thinking that, okay, whether this is right, without using even logic, without even finding the truth, what's the truth behind this. They would just see that and they would make their decision based on that. For me, for example, if the media is not talking about the Afghan woman specifically, if the media is not showing the problem they are facing, it's like they are empowering the current government to have even more free hand and to do whatever they want. It's like you are telling them, okay, you do what you want, you go as hard as you want, and I'm here to support you because no one is going to know what's going inside the house. That's a big problem. Like I told you, instead of bringing out the reality, instead of showing the reality, instead of standing there for these voiceless people, they are motivating and encouraging people that no, everything is fine. In my life, or maybe in my this period of life from when I went back from Italy to Afghanistan, um, I have never seen so many tourists. I have never seen so many tourists going and talking so positive about Afghanistan. But now, yes, like every influencer, almost every influencer from YouTube is in Afghanistan. Almost every, or somehow, yeah, influencer from the social media is there, is in presenting very positive picture, a very, like everything is just harmony, peace, and love and prosperity. And it's not like that. It's not the truth. So sorry again. I went
So
out of your question.
don't be sorry, absolutely. It's not out, actually is important, is the other way around. If you don't give a platform to the women or to the people you talk about to share their story, is a biased narrative, and I don't think it's doing any good. But even this, like doing an extra positive narrative or something that
Yes,
is not positive, is not going to do any good, because then people will think like, oh, why are you are complaining so much about this
yes.
topic or this situation, when actually I saw this video and everything is perfectly fine. And you
Exactly.
have.
That is the one thing that we are asked nowadays.
Hmm.
We are told nowadays. Oh, I have seen a video. This influencer, blah blah. He went and he just showed that no one is saying anything to him, no one is hitting him because he has a short beard or a cutted hair style or he's wearing a pant. But how comes you're saying it's not, it's like a different thing? Yeah, but you are saying one side of the picture. You are saying the better side of the picture. You are not saying, and this is actually the current policy where people are shown the smooth part, the more beautiful part of the area and of the situation, and where they can, like in our language we have a say that we say, okay, you they cover it from above, and inside the wall everything is just a mess. There is a lot of mess and a lot of how can I say, impurities,
Mm.
but they give a good clear white cover on the above. So it's something like this, and people are never going to see or what's actually happening.
Mm. Yeah.
And they are not, they, I am not blaming them because they rely on what the media is presenting.
Yes, it's a polished version of reality that
Yes.
doesn't do any good, at least not to the common people. He does good to the government. He does good
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
these political games and whatever propaganda they have going on. But to people who are trying to actually live there, survive, or maybe find a way out of it to have a better life,
Mhm,
yeah, that's definitely doing
mhm.
absolutely no good at all.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course, it's making everyone hopeless. Like
of course.
during the first years, when international or powerful institutes were focusing on Afghanistan, everyone was hopeful because they said something is going to change.
Uh-huh.
Everyone was willing to live life because they said, okay, probably in some period of time we are going to have a better days.
Yeah.
But now people are losing hope. They are they are in a really uncertain situation, and it's hard. It's hard to leave. It's easy to say, to talk, to listen to, but it's very difficult to live.
You always use your voice as a form of resistance. You say this also at the beginning, and I know how important is storytelling for you, sharing your story and make sure that no one forgets about Afghanistan and no one forgets about the people that are left living there under these very grim circumstances. So how do you keep yourself motivated as well to keep sharing this story and to, when everything around, and as we mentioned before, try to silence these voices? What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated in this journey?
I think every human being is responsible for their morals, and I think each and every human being has a responsibility in this society. And in my case, I think uh, by sharing the stories, by telling the stories, it heals me as well because, in a way, I'm somehow doing my responsibility to tell the world what's the reality, what's the truth, to spread the awareness, to be the voice for the people who are voiceless, to portray the real problem and real difficulty my society is facing, my people are facing. This is one thing um, that gives me motivation to talk and to spread awareness. But also by telling what's going on, what's really happening, it attracts the attention from the people, and then they start thinking, okay, if that person who is a foreigner who went there is showing the polished side of what's going on, this person is from that place, has lived there, and has seen, and is always, even now. seeing through the family. So then they start comparing, and this thing somehow make people to think. Probably, I mean, it's. I hope that one day, by saying this, by telling these stories, by bringing forward the reality, will make the people understand what actually is going on there, and will probably, hopefully, make them take an action against this. So I take this as a moral responsibility of me being an Afghan and of being a woman to help and support my Afghan women and my Afghan people. And that's my biggest motivation.
And I think maybe also a question here is like, how do you keep yourself safe? You amplifying the stories of your story and also the stories of women and people from Afghanistan
Mhm.
brings you under the spotlight somehow, you know, under a bigger and a broader attention. And how do you make sure as well you keep yourself safe to be able to continue doing what you're doing?
Well, with the current social media, it's a bit hard to be on the safe side because even for the current government, for what they are, they still have a lot of access to the media.
Mhm.
Um, but as I said, I made this the like the goal of my life. So yeah, I do. For example, as my name Malalai is a very common name in Afghanistan, and it's like almost in every family there is one Malalai. The only difference that makes is the surname. In my most of my interviews or like I try to avoid giving the full name or the uh, try to give my full information, the personal information. So even if I give, like, I try to avoid showing it on the media. Otherwise, for them, it's not easy. It's not difficult to find the, like it happened in my family
Mhm.
that a family member of mine in US said something and another family member in Afghanistan got the threat. So it is what it is, but we can't just stay quiet and see for what's going on just to keep ourselves safe. I think if something is worth sacrificing, then it should be there. Like for me, if I'm able to help someone, if I'm able to bring the truth or the reality forward, I think it's worth sacrificing.
If you could stop fighting for one thing, because finally the world listened to what you were asking, what would that be?
Well, this is really a powerful question. Uh, I am a person born and raised in war, and I know how brutal and how ugly this thing is. For me, like what you said, if the world could listen, or the only thing I could help is it would be peace, because a place or a society or a country, however you want to put it, where there is peace, even in a home, in a home of a small family, when there is peace between the members, you can have prosperity. You can have you have the freedom to dream. You have the freedom to do what you want. You can dream. You can study. Like, studying is not a crime. It's a very basic human right. For a society where people are fighting and doing suicides, just to have access to studies. Like, um, it's like you're asking for food, according to me, and you can't get that. It's really terrible. It's so it's so bad. It's so hard, and it's so difficult. But I think if there is peace, if there is peace, you can live, you can have the rights. And if you have the rights, for example, study is your human right, it's a basic human right. And you can easily have it. You can have a dignity. You can have you can have all the rights you want without being humiliated for being for expressing yourself because an extremist came with his ideology and want to implement his ideology on you. So if you are free, you can have dignity in the society. You can have dignity in front of people. You won't be humiliated by every street, by every road, by every shop, in front of mm, a baby, in front of a woman, in front of a man. You won't be humiliated. You will have respect. You will have dream. So it was my dream to study in Afghanistan in the University of Kabul. And it remained a dream. And it's still a dream. I don't know if I will ever be able to achieve my this dream. I don't know at what age. But it's my dream. So yeah. But unfortunately, if the world could see and hear, we won't be here begging for our basic right. But it's not like that.
I hear a bit of hope anyway in your dream, and
Thank you.
I, I thank you so much for everything you shared with us today. When Power will be here to listen to you to explore your journey even further, and hopefully when one day that dream will become true, we will be able to share it together.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And as I say, when I say the stories, it heals me, it empowers me. So thank you for healing me and for empowering me, for empowering the Afghan woman. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Malalai. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for following us on this episode. I hope that the story of Malalai inspired you and helped you understand better the situation of Afghan women and what's really happening in Afghanistan at the moment. This episode concludes Women on the Move, our special series dedicated to migration. You can follow up with all the content and the articles on our website at www.wempower.co or follow us on all social media at WempowerUK. Till the next time.